Alright, this is another FSD and talk video. There was the Q2 2025 earnings report today, so I don't really have that exciting of a drive. To be honest, it's a lot of traffic and fairly straight, but I just wanted to talk about what was brought up today and do so in a timely manner, and this is the drive that I have to do. So one thing to note, first of all, we have people on the road. I would start moving over. Yeah, okay, nice job. I'm trying something that I saw. I've heard about this as a fix quite a while ago, but here in Canada, there's often issues. I might take over because this road sucks. There's a lot of potholes on this road, and the car famously doesn't necessarily avoid them properly. So, but anyways, I have the car in miles per hour instead of kilometers because apparently that fixes kind of the issue with the double stop at stop signs, as well as the just overall feel of a stop sign. So I'm gonna leave it on for a little bit. It's still annoying to do that as a Canadian, even if it does fix it, because yeah, it does say that I'm going 47 kilometers an hour. You can see that on the screen, but it tells me the max is 25, and I don't actually know what 25 is in kilometers. So for me to convert it on the fly is really confusing. Okay, so here we go. Nice slow, and then I would just go. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't because there's a car actually. I would wait a second. I'll go after this red car. Perfect. That didn't feel radically different to me. We'll see. I'll leave it on for a couple more of these stop signs. But yeah, as a Canadian, it's really awkward just because you don't see, what is 37 miles per hour in kilometers? How do I understand what that max is? So that's my reason for not leaving it on. And also, you might kind of see, I'll maybe post a photo, my camera upgrade has gone one step further. I now have, I hope it's not too much in the way, I have a dedicated GoPro right here that's just pointing at the screen. I have my Sony camera that's going to capture the steering wheel and outside, and then I have that camera that's recording me, and I'm currently wearing two mics. I'm wearing a lav mic and a DJI Rode mic. So my thought is to test to see which one sounds better. So I'm going to do this back and forth right now. So this is me talking on the lav mic, check, 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 and this is me talking on the DJI mic. So just curious what sounds best, because ultimately, if I'm going to put in the work for these videos, I want to make sure they sound good, look good for you guys to watch. So anyways, that's kind of all the housekeeping stuff. Things to talk about are, like I said, is the Q2 2025 earnings report. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff. I'll try and make it as concise as possible. One of the things they did show, which was really interesting, as always, they show their safety report, and that says miles driven on Autopilot, which is an umbrella term for auto steer and FSD, and compares that against the national average for accidents. So it's one crash for every 6.69 million miles versus 936,000 miles. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people refute this quite often. I mean, the main thing is I think people say that FSD and auto steer are generally used more so on the highway, and so those miles are safer. At the end of the day, yeah, there might be some reasons why comparing the two isn't really genuine 100%. But even if it's even if the actual average is half of that, it's still it's 10 times safer. Whatever not 10 times, way off. 7 times safer, 6 times safer, whatever. It's still notably safer that even if the numbers are skewed a little bit in Tesla's favor, it's still clear that using Autopilot, either FSD or auto steer, makes driving safer. And again, for those that are screaming at the computer right now, FSD and auto steer can technically both disable themselves. And there's been like what I would call false reports of it happening before an accident. And if that's the case, Tesla's not doing that to alleviate themselves of the, whatever the word is, burden of it. Like if auto steer or FSD are disabled and then within 5 seconds there's an accident, Tesla says that that was an accident on autopilot. I'm almost certainly going to just press the pedal here because we're dealing with a tight thing. Okay. Yeah, so Tesla takes responsibility for those accidents. So if something was happening, FSD disables, and then count out 5 seconds. Like that's a long time. And if within those 5 seconds there's an accident, Tesla's like, yeah, that was probably our fault. So that is just something that I think I see parroted a lot online, and I don't think people really understand the truth there. Uh-oh. Along with that, what is happening here? I'll pull over. Oh. Damn, I disabled FSD because I thought it wasn't going to pull over, and it for sure was signaling and moving over with all the other cars just there. Wow, that is too bad that I stopped that from happening. It'll be there. You can see it signaled and started to move over, but I just, because emergency vehicle is such a unknown thing, I just assumed it wasn't going to do it. Crazy. That was cool. Yeah, along with that, they showed that there's 4.5 billion miles on FSD driven to date, which is insane. That's so many miles. Really cool. That's FSD specific. That's not auto steer. That's not traffic aware cruise control. That's just FSD. And you can see on the graph that's on the screen right now, like that's a massive uptick. Well, let's see if it does it again. Signal, signal, signal. Tried to let it do it. The first time it definitely signaled and pulled over. This time it was not doing that. Huh. Curious what that is, like a police escort of some sort. Okay, and then so along with the Q2 earnings, there was the discussion of a more affordable model, which is apparently in production as of right now, like it's being produced in the factory. Still super ambiguous as to what that means. The plan is for it to come out for second half of 2025. I must have written that down wrong. It's supposed to come out this year. But I mean, it's still up for debate what exactly that is. Is it a Model 3 or a Model Y with like a stripped down interior, cloth, seats, like smaller battery, whatever? Or is it an actual functionally different vehicle chassis? Like, is it a 3 or a Y stripped down, or is it a completely new vehicle? So that it remains to be seen. I am curious. What do you guys think it is? I hope it's more than just a 3 or a Y stripped down, because the way they've been talking about it for so long, it feels like it should be more exciting than that. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to wait until we were actually moving to talk more. This semi-truck, the yellow one, literally did like a 25-point turn and stopped all these vehicles moving for the last like 10 minutes. That's pretty wild. Yeah, so Elon said in the next 1 to 2 weeks, the Robotaxi Geofence in Austin will be expanded and will be much larger. I forget exactly what his term was, but like larger than Waymo's current newly expanded geofence, which Waymo, just after Tesla expanded their geofence, Waymo expanded theirs to be quite bigger. And that was after them being in Austin for however long. And for Tesla to then, like, if they actually do in a couple weeks expand it again bigger than Waymo, I think that's really going to show. And Elon did try and drive home the point of like the way Waymo's doing it and the way Tesla's doing it are so different as far as like expanding and moving into new cities. Like Tesla's rapid acceleration and rapid growth will be very, very, very clear as it moves forward here. I mean, already the fact that they expanded to their comical shape as quickly as they did was impressive, and if they expand one more time and then can move into new areas as quickly as they're saying they can, yeah, I mean, that's really, really cool. The only issue there, of course, is they're doing it still with safety monitors, and that will for sure hamper the speed at which they can grow, because if you need a driver in the seat for every single Tesla Robotaxi you put on the road, that really hurts the scalability for sure, right? Like, I appreciate they're doing it safe, and there is still issues here and there, so it's good that there's a safety monitor. But I'm hoping that with the new update that's coming out, it shows that it's clear the safety monitor doesn't need to be there, and we can remove that person from the seat. Or like maybe they're for like any drive that's not like on a freeway, there doesn't need to be a safety monitor, but any drive that's like more complicated, when you call that and the route is complicated, it'll say, yeah, a car's coming to you, but it's going to have a safety monitor. Something like that. I don't know. Who knows how they do it, but yeah. So I wouldn't go. No. Elon also said on the call, he says to date they've done 7,000 driverless miles in Austin. People can extrapolate that how they like and do what they will with it, but as far as I know, there's been no like safety critical issues. You know, there's been the issues that are posted online where the car went into like the wrong lane, and I'm not saying that's good. I'm not here condoning that kind of behavior for an autonomous vehicle, but Waymos make mistakes like that all the time too, and it isn't good, but there hasn't been an accident or anything noteworthy. I guess there's one accident where the car, like, it was dirty Tesla, and the tire of the Robotaxi touched a parked car. So if you like really want to like get nitty gritty, yeah, there's been one accident, and then like, you know, there's times where there's weird indecisiveness or things that have happened that aren't perfect, but ultimately nothing safety critical. And I call it safety critical, meaning someone would have been seriously injured. Yeah, leave a comment if you disagree with that, but that's cool. 7,000 miles driven. And then for Hardware 3 people, something that's really interesting is on the call, they basically said Hardware 3, how do they word it? Yeah, Hardware 3 upgrades are not going to happen until full self-driving supervised happens, which is kind of what I said from the very beginning. And it's what I think they should do is basically like make full self-driving unsupervised work, be that on Hardware 4 or if they have to move to Hardware 5, whatever the case is. And then once they have full self-driving unsupervised solved, work backwards from there. So that's what they said for Hardware 3 people. There will be no upgrade until they basically solve full self-driving, and at which point they will look at what they need to do to make that work on Hardware 3 cars. And I think, as always, the caveat is that only happens if you've bought FSD. So if you're a Hardware 3 owner and you're not paying for FSD, like you haven't purchased FSD and you're just like paying monthly, or you don't have FSD, you're not going to get an upgrade. I would not go, yeah. So, yeah, curious to see how that goes. I think that'll be a long time. I think for some Hardware 3 people, that's kind of sad news. But also, what more did you expect? Like, why would they go through the effort of upgrading you to Hardware 4 if Hardware 4 still is then going to need to maybe one day be upgraded to Hardware 5? I would go. No, I wouldn't. Go after this car. Perfect. Nice job. And then for the earnings themselves on Tesla Power, revenue, net income, I'll put those on the screen right now. I'm not really the one to like dissect that because I don't know what is good and what isn't good. Seems like they missed by just like a hair on projected, but at the same time, like, I do think that there's some truth to be said that like the world is just in a place right now. Like, I think if you looked at Rivian's earnings and Ford's earnings, like, I bet everybody's is similar. Like, probably sales are just down overall for EVs and for things like that. So, not great, but I think this isn't Tesla's fault. I think this is just the market is slow at the moment. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not really like an expert in that field. Do with this what you will. Elon on the call also said FSD Unsupervised will be available for personal use in some US cities by late 2025. I'm an Elon fan as far as like what he's doing. I love Tesla. I love the technology. I think that man should not be allowed to make promises with dates attached to them because he is famously bad for them. And in the end, that ends up discrediting Tesla, which I really don't like. Like, you see that right now with FSD. FSD is incredible. It's the best consumer ADAS system that exists, I think, arguably in the world, but definitely North America. But because it was late, and because it isn't perfect, and because it isn't unsupervised, and Elon promised it 10 years ago, whatever the number is, people don't care how good it is. They just fault Elon for being late on promising it. So will FSD unsupervised happen? Probably, certainly at some point. Will it happen in some US cities by late 2025? I wouldn't bet on it, as good as this is. I could be wrong, but promising a date lets people be disappointed. Whereas if you just said FSD unsupervised is happening in some cities soon, we're really working hard to make it happen, I think that that's a better thing. But I'm not a PR person, so who knows. And then they also said that their plan is to start delivering cars autonomously from the Fremont factory by the end of this year. Goes on with kind of what I was saying in the last video. I think that's really cool. It'll be the default option is what they said. And you'll order a car in Austin and it will literally show up at your door, which sounds like something from the future. But how cool is that? Yeah, there's, in my opinion, a bunch of things that need to happen to make that work, like licensing and being able to deny delivery, but whatever, it's ultimately still a really, really cool feature. And if that starts happening by this year, I think that's awesome. And I think that was kind of it for the call. There may have been some more, but that was kind of the big points. So a couple other things. Something that I didn't know, and I made a post about it, put it on the screen right now, and I look stupid to those of you that do know this. I always called Autopilot the thing that you did that wasn't FSD. And so on the call, Elon kept saying Autopilot, 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 and then would like mention something about FSD. And I was confused at why he's calling it Autopilot. This is just a little learning moment. Autopilot is, like, you can see the main term for traffic aware cruise control, auto steer, and full self-driving supervised. So all those things fit under the technology of Autopilot. That's something I didn't know, so I just thought it was worth bringing up on the channel. I got corrected immediately by Omar on X, so thank you, Omar. I'm stupid for not knowing, but given the replies that I got, I don't think I'm alone in that. Because I do think people call Autopilot, I do think people call auto steer Autopilot all the time and don't use the terms correctly. So kind of the same confusion of like cybercab and robotaxi being these like terms that people didn't fully understand. I just wanted to clear up any confusion for that. And the last couple of things is Tesla released 2 new accessories for the Model 3 and the Model Y. One of them is this piece, which they've already released an accessory for it. It's like, they released the piece that I think is on the launch edition. It looks different than this. It's like a dark color. But that came out like a month or 2 ago. And just today, they released this piece in carbon fiber. I think it's like $300. I'm not personally a carbon fiber fan, so I'm not gonna buy it, but very cool nonetheless. if you want it. It's like, my understanding is it clicks out pretty easy and clicks back in. And then, or maybe Tesla service installs it for you. Yeah, this might be a Tesla service install. And then the other one that got released yesterday is in the Frunk. It's they replaced the gasket and you get like a light. So when you open the Frunk, a light will turn on. It's like $140 here in Canada. I'm considering getting it. I think it looks really cool. I think it's self-install. I looked at the manual and it looks fairly straightforward. Like, you just plug it in to the existing little like power supply that's in there. I don't use the Frunk a lot, to be honest, because it's not powered. So 9 times out of 10, I'm going in the trunk. But I may get it just to try it out, and maybe I'll put a channel or video on the channel when I do the install. Let me know if you guys care to see that. Yeah, and I think that's kind of all the like Tesla news for today. So how long is that for a video? 30 minutes, my God. Okay, so hopefully that's a little under 30 minutes because I'll have fast forward a couple of spots, but yeah, that is it for July 23rd, Tesla FSD talk. Again, if you like this format, let me know. Sorry this drive wasn't more interesting. It's like I said, it's a very absurdly straight drive with not a lot of excitement. Yeah, I will see you guys all in the next one.